what do you think it is about, so chemistry, music, what else were you into as a kid that, got you, I'm starting to understand a little bit about your story, but it still has not become clear to me why you got involved in markets.
Well, I guess the whole story sort of fits together. Since I lived in Europe most of my life, and obviously you know that before 2002 the euro didn't exist, we traveled a lot all the time. Every other week we'd be traveling Germany to Netherlands to Switzerland and so on. And every time you'd have to travel, you'd have to switch currencies. So really when I was young, the first thing as far as market exposure goes to is currencies. I loved the whole fact that you could actually make money off of trading these currencies that you kept hearing about. And so instead of playing catch with my dad, I'd actually turn my room into a bank and basically switch currencies with my dad based on the current rates and so forth. So that was like the first time.
I'm curious. So you'd come home with some money from a trip, and you'd kind of watch it and say, hey, like you said, the franc's going up versus the dollar. Hey, Dad, let's give me some dollars for my francs.
Exactly.
So you kind of
it'd be like $50, but yeah. But I mean, at a small extent, that would be the first time I've ever really gotten into it, and I loved it. It was absolutely great. I mean, it wasn't about.
I think that's great because whether you're trading baseball cards, beer cans, whatever it is that you're collecting as a kid, there is some value and there is some worth in that. And I think what I find curious or ironic is that I think a lot of traders start out with equities and then they end up in futures and Forex. Right. So I'm curious, your early entree into Forex, have you stayed in that area? I mean, is that what you trade?
I still do it, but not as a trading mechanism. What I do is since I do have quite a substantial amount of money, and I do go to Paris very often. I want to make sure that I do have some euros there, that I'm keeping my currencies in balance, and I'm not I don't have too much risk with the dollar, holding just the dollar. So I'd buy some euro, buy some dollar every once in a while, but I'm not trading currencies like I trade equities or options or anything like that.
So you've got a hedge fund, Englewood Advantage Fund, and how many partners are involved in the fund, are active in the fund?
Two others at this point. Dan Messer is the one who makes the trades. I'm more of the technical analyst for the fund. I also help raise capital. But the fund is actually different from my own type of trading style. It's more swing trading. It's more based on overboughtness and oversoldness indicators. We try to find stocks that have had remarkable upside or remarkable downside in a very short period of time, and we relate that back to their past patterns using a program that we have, and we would go short it or long it. It used to be called shortstocks.com or Short Stocks Hedge Fund from the shortstocks.com, and too many people thought we were just a short fund, so we had to change the name of it. Yep.
So how long has the fund been in existence?
A year and a little bit, maybe a year and a half now. Yeah.
And what kind of returns have you provided in that gross time frame? What's your gross record?
It's usually between 25 and 40% a year. So it's a very risky type of trading. I'm not going to say that we're not very risk averse. We do have quite a bit of risk there, but so far it's been so good in a down market and in an up market. So it looks good.
And what kind of assets under management do you have?
It's only a few million at this point. We're hoping to raise some more, and then we'll see. At this point, we want to reach maybe 20, 25 million, and then we'll discuss whether we want to continue doing that.
So I'm curious. You're looking for, it sounds, if I can read between the lines as a trader myself, you're trading in parabolic moves up and down. Is that what you're looking for?
They don't have to be parabolic, but they have to be very substantial in a very small period of time. So, I mean, on a chart, it could be parabolic if you look at a 10-minute, but, I mean, if you look at a daily, it could actually just be a constant move to the upside with no consolidation whatsoever.
But if you're swing trading, are you trading mostly daily charts?
We're not daily, but 60-minute. We won't go into a 10-minute type of chart for that swing trade. The swing trades last about 2 weeks.
Okay, so most of your trades, the timeline is 2 weeks. So again, probably 30 to 60-minute charts are probably more applicable for what you guys are looking
Exactly.
at. And what kind of liquidity demands do you guys place on a trade that you're looking at? Are is volume a key indicator?
Volume is definitely a key indicator, so is stochastics. But we've been managed. Our trades are very small in the sense that we only put 5% of the whole capital of our whole hedge fund in a stock max.
Okay.
So
the most you'd have on at any one time is 20 positions.
Exactly.
Okay, but you probably don't.
The
have,
least.
You probably don't have.
We'd have 20 or more positions.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. So the point is, liquidity is actually not that big of a factor. We're able to scale it a little bit more.
And how about risk? How do you guys manage the risk side of the equation? That capital allocation is one piece, but how much of your capital your overall capital on a trade will you typically, what's kind of a range that you'll risk?
So what we've managed to do is when we actually place the short or the long, we've actually managed to get about 80% of those trades on the right side of the trade. And so once we do get on the right side of the trade, we'll put a stop loss in there. A lot of trades actually take sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks to actually move towards our right side of the trade before it actually becomes positive for us. So we actually sometimes just wait. Once it goes out of our sort of range, 10-20%, then we'll take it off. But since the positions are relatively small,
right,
it doesn't hurt us over the long run.